Let's take this dated console table and give it some life with green paint and a little bit of pizzazz. The first few steps are to take out the drawers, clean the piece. I then take very light sandpaper and lightly scuff the entire piece before applying the first coat of Dixie Belle chalk mineral paint. The color I chose is a very pretty green. It's called Kudzu, and I'm going to apply 2 coats of this base coat color all over the piece. You can see here how nicely the paint adheres to the wood. I did not prime the wood or use any kind of base coat, and Dixie Belle chalk mineral paint really does not need a primer unless it's going over a slick shellacked finish, and since I had scuffed up the finish of this before I applied the paint, I was good to go. The table has 2 inserts. They pull out, as you can see here, and extend the table's length, which I think is a pretty neat feature of this piece. I'm going to blend in a darker color. This is Collard Greens by Dixie Belle. I spray my brush with water and then I very lightly dip it into the darker paint and swirl it around the perimeter of the table. And using this method, you can blend in the paint. Make sure you keep your brush slightly damp the whole time, and this will allow the paint to blend very nicely. Now I'm going back with the Kudzu, which is the brighter green, and adding it in into the collard greens, and I go back and forth with the 2 colors and swirl them together until I'm happy with the result. Once the paint had completely dried, I added a transfer. This is Magnolia by Dixie Belle Paint, and it's a very pretty transfer, and I decided to add it into the center of the table. First, you need to cut off the excess of the transfer, which is around the design, and then peel off the backing, adhere it to where you want it on the piece of furniture, and then you're going to take a stick that comes in the transfer and gently rub the transfer into place. I'm going to lightly stipple on a little bit of paint around the edges of the transfer, and then I take a very gentle sandpaper and very lightly sand the entire piece to give it a very smooth finish. And this makes the transfer look as if it's been painted onto the furniture instead of actually stuck onto the furniture. To seal the piece, I am using the Best Dang wax in clear, and I also use the wax in brown along the edges of the piece and the drawer fronts. I also apply the wax over the transfer, and this seals both the transfer and the paint, and the piece is good to go. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe.